Hello and welcome to the heaving weight champion of the world, otherwise known as the greatest breath rate in the world. Who can breathe the fastest? That's what we're going to answer today. So first of all, we need to find a baseline. The Cleveland Clinic defines respiratory rate as the number of breaths taken per minute. The normal respiratory rate for a human adult at rest is 12 to 20 breaths per minute. A respiratory rate under 12 or over 25 breaths per minute while resting is considered abnormal. Among the conditions that we can just skip this next part. So humans have a breath rate of 12 to 20 breaths per minute. Great. Now let's line that up against a few different animals. So first of all, we have a phylogenetic tree of the animals that you see on screen. And we're going to work our way from top to bottom. So we're going to look at the mouse. The mouse looks like this. And its breath rate, according to Johns Hopkins University, is between 80 to 230 breaths per minute. Fantastic. So now we can look at the chicken. The chicken looks like this. And according to the UK College of Agriculture, it has about 30 breaths per minute. Fantastic. Now we can look at the xenopus. The xenopus looks like this. And it also has another name, and it goes by African clawed frog. And its breathing rate looks like this. Now we can look specifically at these viewpoints and find that it has a breath rate of about, let's call it 15 to 20. So 15 to 20 breaths per minute. Fantastic. So moving on to the zebrafish. The zebrafish looks like this. And its breathing rate looks like this. Now this is a nice little chart, but we're only going to look at these few lines right here, the average lines. And we can find that their breath rate is between, let's call it 100 to 160. 100 to 160 breaths per minute. So, moving on to the Drosophila. The Drosophila looks like this. And it's otherwise known as the fruit fly. Now the fruit fly has a breathing rate data that looks like this. You can see from left to right, there is the average frequency of beats per minute, CO2 output, O2 uptake, etc., etc. So we're only going to look at beats per minute because this is its heart rate, and this is the closest thing that we can find to a breathing rate at this point. And we're going to look at this number, which is kind of the average, but we're going to round it off to about 9,000. So 9,000 beats per minute. How are we going to turn beats per minute into breaths per minute? We can look at a human's heart rate, which is between 60 to 100 beats per minute. And then we can look at their breath rate and find that their heart rate is 5 to 9 times more than the breaths per minute. So by this logic, a fruit fly's breath rate is between 1,000 to 1,800 breaths per minute. Awesome. So the fruit fly's breathing rate is 1,000 to 1,800 breaths per minute. Fantastic. That is our highest breath rate so far. Let's look at a summary of what we have so far. Humans have a breath rate of 12 to 20 breaths per minute. Mice have a breath rate of 80 to 230 breaths per minute. Chickens have a breath rate of about 30 breaths per minute. The African clawed frog has a breath rate of about 15 to 20 breaths per minute. The zebrafish has a breath rate of 100 to 160 breaths per minute. The Drosophila has a breath rate of 1,000 to 1,800 breaths per minute. Now, all we have left is the C. elegans. The C. elegans looks like this. This is a low quality GIF because I didn't want to gross everyone out with a super high quality one. They're kind of squirmy and gross. But we can look at its anatomy and find that it lacks a circulatory and respiratory system. Yikes. So it has no breaths per minute. And it's disqualified. So what else do we have? We have worms that look like C. elegans. So we're going to look at an earthworm. Yeah. An earthworm, its anatomy looks like this. And you can see right here that it has blood vessels. Awesome. So blood vessels mean it's breathing. Oxygen comes in, carbon dioxide goes out. But how does this happen? It has a nice mucus layer that covers its body. It pulls in oxygen and diffuses into the mucus layer and then releases carbon dioxide also through the mucus layer. So how would we calculate the breaths per minute on this? Well, it's happening at all times. So obviously it's an infinite. infinite breaths per minute. That is a clear winner right now. The amazing earthworm is the heaving weight champion of the world. Thank you. I want to thank my mom, my dad, and everyone who is watching at home. Thank you so much for joining me on this crazy adventure. It means so much to me that the worm is the heaving weight champion of the world. What can I say? Ooh. Hey, welcome back to the heaving weight champion of the world. I have been, let's just say, I've talked to some friends and they've told me that I'm wrong. So, we're back, and this is revised because, the Drosophila and the C. elegans do not breathe, and neither does the earthworm. Yes, my logic was wrong. So, we're gonna do this whole thing again. Let's do a nice little recap. Humans have 12 to 20 breaths per minute. A mouse has 80 to 230 breaths per minute. A chicken has about 30 breaths per minute. A xenopus has about 15 to 20 breaths per minute. And a zebrafish has about 100 to 160 breaths per minute. Clearly, the winner is the mouse. But I did some more research. You see, we can find more animals out there in the world. This is not an exhausted list, but, it's what I've come up with. So, we have the cat. The cat has a breathing rate of 16 to 40 breaths per minute. A cow, 26 to 50. Dog, 18 to 34. Horse, 10 to 14. Pig, 32 to 58. Sheep, 16 to 34. Pigeon, 25 to 30. Giraffe, 32. Shark, 40. Trout, 77. Goat, 12 to 20. And sloth at 10 to 30. For this list, obviously the pig is the winner. But if we go back, of course, the mouse is still the winner with 80 to 230. But let's look at some honorable mentions for the slowest breathing rate in the world. You see, we have a whale, which takes about 0.0111 to 0.0125 breaths per minute, or one breath per 80 to 90 minutes. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I can hold my breath for like 2 minutes. So what could beat that? What could possibly beat a whale? A mud skipper fish, which stops breathing completely once it's in the mud during dry season. So one breath for a whole season, or like 2 months. 2 months. 2 months of not breathing. So let's move on. Now, we have the fastest breathing animal, which looks like this. You probably guessed it. It's the hummingbird, which has a breathing rate of about 250 breaths per minute. This is a lot of breaths per minute. Now, comparing that to the mouse's breath rate of 80 to 230, it only beats it by a small margin, but it's still the fastest breathing animal in the world. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the revised version of this video, because goodness, the amount of times I've been told I'm wrong is weighing on me. So, do what you will with this knowledge, and have a nice day.